Hey guys, what's happening? It's Kanza here. Today I'm going to be talking about anti-airing, as I know that this, especially for like lower ranked players or people that are just beginning, they may find this quite difficult to do. Is where you have the other opponent or the player that you're fighting against, they might just be repeatedly just jumping on you. I know a lot of Zeta players will do this, for example, and just jumping on you, and it feels like you don't have any options to kind of like deflect them. So what happens is a lot of people just end up holding R2, which is block, or holding back, and just taking pressure when they shouldn't be. So in this video I'm going to be breaking down anti-airs and what your actual options are. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so without further ado, let's get into it. So an example would be, let's have Percival, who everyone knows he jumps in, and he's got technically about two jump ins, where he's got jump in light like this, or he's got his heavy, which typically is used most times, and then he's also got this, right, which is his jump 5 view. Okay, so I'm going to go through all of these three options just as a basic example that you can use across the board. So without further ado, let's get into the first one, which would be his jumping H, or 5H. So here we go. So he's going to jump in and do that, right, and then continuous pressure or something like that. So what people tend to do is just block, and then after that he can just continue mashing his strings, or if your character has like a DP, I don't recommend it. Some people just DP after blocking or jumping. If you've got a hard read, then sure, go for it, but in most cases you can get blown up if the person just ends up blocking. So it shouldn't take you getting to that stage to, hey, let me make myself be vulnerable by putting myself under pressure and then have to DP, when you can eliminate that from the get-go. So an example would be, most characters can just 2H jump ins, as that's your anti-air button, I believe, across the board. So as you can see, he jumps in, 2H. Completely prevented him from jumping in at all. So that way I've dealt damage back to him, and it's a counter, so if I haven't converted from it, he can't recover. But you can also get a combo from this, so I'll show you an example now. So as you can see, different characters will have different options available to them. If you don't have a DP, for example, like Zeta, your options may be a bit more limited depending on if you land the counter or not. So let me take counter hit off, just to show you as an example. Where is it? Counter hit default. Right, so basically the only reason I got a counter hit there was simply because he pressed the button as well, which was the H, and it traded, where I won because my 2H has more priority, right? So if I have him just jump in regularly like this, and I land a hit, no counter, he recovers, right? But when you land a counter, regardless of if they've pressed the button, if you land the counter, you actually get more time to convert. So counter, see, can't recover, has to take whatever damage I'm going to dish out. At this point, because I've landed a counter, this is another option I can do, is do this, and then you've got enough time to go into super, right? But it might just take a bit of timing depending on how high you hit them up, etc., like that. And then in some cases you can even skybound art, but it may depend on where you are in the screen. This is just mid-screen conversions. And then there's characters like Percival that have delayed jump-ins. So his 5U that I was talking about, which is this, where he jumps in, does that, and it delays him. So I can show you a typical example of what would happen when you're fighting a Percival player. They may jump in on you, delay, and do that. So what that actually is, it's a very good move because it gives him a hard knockdown on you. Then you have to get up and guess what he's going to do. But people will preemptively anti-air, and as you see, punish. So in cases like this, when you have an EXDP, especially against characters like Percival, because EXDPs that go upwards, or for example Zeta's EX Spear, it's completely unblockable in the air. So you will always win, regardless of if he's pressing buttons or not. But it will depend on like how high up he is, right, or just like positioning. But yeah, EXDPs going upwards will have invincibility, as well as Zeta's EX Spear. So it's just kind of like know your options and be prepared, depending on what character you're facing, to throw out certain things. So with Percival, the way I go about this matchup is, regardless if he's jumped in with 5H or if he's going to do 2U, 5U, sorry, I always EX. I try my best to always EX because it's better to be safe than sorry. Because if I, as you see, with the punish, and then I end up eating damage and then waking up into a wake-up situation that you don't want to be in. So another thing that I can show you is his jumping light. So with this, it actually locks him into the position from the start of the jump to the end. So if I take off this counter hit, and I can show you now an example. Oops, sorry, like this. So as you can see, from start to finish, he was locked in it, so he didn't have the opportunity to like block or, you know, change buttons. He's just locked into it. And if I miss, punish, and then he gets a full conversion, right? Regardless, and then that's on me. So in cases like this, it's best to always try and just anti-air straight away rather than just taking big damage for no reason, right? Right, so I think with Zeta, sorry, I can like that. So that's just a simple little combo extension. Now in the corner, let me show you with Percival, for example. If I switch Percival with Zeta, so switch it around. Okay, you can edit this big boy. Edit it. So an example in the corner would be if we have Zeta, for example, who everyone knows loves to do this move, and then into whatsoever else she wants to do, right? It may be a bit more difficult to like extend your combos if you're just gonna go for the standard 2H into DP or something like that, depending on like whereabouts they're positioned. So I'll show you an example now. See, you're gonna end up getting hit and then end up eating a full combo. So in some cases, it's just better to DP, as I said, especially in the corner. EX DP, depending on which character you're playing, may pull you out of the corner a bit more, so it's a bit risky. But in general, light DP should always just go straight up, depending on what character you're playing. So it's a bit easier to manage. But you can try and bait certain things from characters like that. Didn't say punish, so I'm guessing that she can still block upon landing. So you just gotta be careful of that. But you do have defensive options for stopping someone jumping in on you. I'm gonna try and see if I can. There you go, like that. So you can 2H it, that is jumping, but timing is key. But also once I landed the jump in, what I did with Percival, each character will have different conversions, but on counter, because you have more time, you can actually dash up behind them and then continue the combo. So I'll show you again. Whoops. Yeah, I'll show you again. Like that, as you can see, and then you can finish it however you choose. In Percival's case, he can, in his case, he can actually super, I believe, in the corner, like this, or just regular super, and then whatsoever he chooses. So when you're anti-airing, the main thing that you want to make sure that you're aware of is just once you've landed the 2H, or if you've just gone for this, but in cases where you're going for a 2H, always look out for the notation if it says counter or not, because then that will let you know what you can convert from. It's kind of hard to do, but if you can do it, then it will really like help you improve and let you, dish out the most damage that you possibly can. But yeah, that's about it for the anti-air guide. I know it's a bit brief, but it just kind of to get people to understand like what you can and can't do from certain situations. And I know it's a bit difficult, sorry, offline, but I know it's a bit difficult for people that are just starting out to kind of adapt. But what I suggest you do is definitely go into practice mode and then just lab each and every character. The positive with this game is that there's not like over 50 characters right now, so it's better to kind of just like get it done and over with now. So learn the jumping for like the 10 characters that are out at the moment, learn the delays, the different jumping properties, and then know how to anti-air certain things. So for example, Beelzebub, who does the air jumping and he freezes in the sky and then he comes down. If you just start whiffing 2H, it's not going to look good, because you will probably end up getting hit. In that case, if you see him charging, DP straight away. So because that your DP will rise enough to hit him, and then you don't have to deal with that mix up, right? So I hope this video has helped anyone if they've just been struggling with anti-airing or just the general neutral. If you have any comments, do post them down below and let me know what video you'd like me to make next. And yeah, have a good day, people. Peace.